Hello, Jana, my friend.
Hello, my beautiful Dana. How are you this week?
Oh, I am good. I actually have a few days off this week because it's actually Canada Day on Wednesday. So that's
Oh,
our July 4th. It's on July
okay,
1st.
nice.
We have our July 4th on July 1st. It's Canada Day. So I'm excited for that. Just have a few days off. That'll be really fun. But I'm also kind of sad, Jana, because this is our last Rory reunion recap, or this is our last Rory recap, which is
Yes.
crazy. It feels like we've been doing this for months, which I think we have.
Yes. I know. I'm so sad. Like, A, because I just love talking to you every week and all the days in between on WhatsApp, of course. But this has been so much fun to recap. Like, this show has given us so much. And I just feel like there is going to be a giant hole to fill. Like, what is going to take its place?
I've been thinking about that, and I don't know what they actually are putting in its place, but I'm sort of looking on the horizon as to what we have, right? We've got Next Gen NYC, where we've had one episode come out so far. We're coming upon the end of In the City. I think we're going to be getting Real Housewives of OC 20th season soon, but I might be
Mm.
boycotting it because I had a friend of the pod, Jamie Rice, on a couple of weeks ago. She does a joint podcast now with Katie Janella. And just remembering everything that they did to her and how shitty of a season it was and everything, a lot of people are boycotting for that reason. And I'm like, you know what? I might join because Jamie and Katie are actually going to be recapping it for everyone who doesn't want to listen. And I think, you know how some people do that where people are
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to listen to it. I'll just listen to you. Or sorry, I don't want to watch the show. I'll just like listen to your
Yeah.
recaps. That's what I think I'll do with it. So I might boycott that. And then
Mm.
there's the Ultimate Girls Trip, which I think is
Yeah.
also coming. So maybe that, but I just feel like there isn't anything like really good on the horizon. Like
No, I
nothing I'm really
completely
jazzed about.
agree. No, I completely agree. I feel like, even the road trip, like
Yeah.
it's just gonna be like, yeah, like so excited. Like here we are in Rhode Island and now we're doing some gimmicky thing here. Now we're in Atlanta and we're doing something gimmicky here. I don't really care about that. Like I just really want to like get into Nini's real life or like, you know, sorry to
I mean,
Latrice
I could be
Stump's.
wrong. I just because I haven't really been keeping up with what this show is going to be,
Yeah.
but I don't think we're going to get that. I think it's going to be like these little bits of everybody, almost like
Yes.
catch ups with how everyone's doing, which
Yeah.
is nice and fun and light, I guess. But I'm not feeling light. I want
No.
heaviness.
I want to
Speaking of which,
dig in.
Speaking of which, I just feel like having the men on today was so crazy to have them on the
Oh
reunion and to actually
my
just
God.
get in there with Brian. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sad that we're not having anything coming up that I'm
I
super jazzed
know.
about. Anything else that
I
you're watching
know.
right now that you're really into?
Well, obviously, Love Island, as you
Yes.
know. I did watch Next Gen and I sort of watched it out of like, meh, I've got, well, I'll see what it's like. And I was surprisingly into it. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed the kind of Gen Z vibe about it, the way that it was so well produced with so much like, the way they've got like the text messages projected on like a New York wall. And like,
Yeah, that's
I
kind of
thought
cool.
that yeah, the production value it makes it look really different,
Yeah.
and I love that it was just a permanent broken fourth wall. Like they're all talking about the fact that they're on this show and what being on this show has done to relationships and money and what they're pissed off about, but not in that fake housewives way where it's like you said on a podcast, blah blah blah. And then that's the only storyline. Like I feel like
Except
it's
for Ava
moving.
Dash, because her whole storyline is like, oh, Teresa
Yeah.
unfollowed me and then followed me. Like that
Yeah.
is as just as stupid. But
Yes.
it's funny that you say that about the fourth wall because another show that I am excited about that's coming out soon is House of Stassi Schroeder's new
Oh
show.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's my understanding that this is no walls on this show
Oh
because they actually
wow.
show this scene, this very short clip. I saw it online, like Get Real Hulu had announced it or released it or something. And it's Katie and Stassi sitting down, and Katie saying to Stassi, basically, you keep your circle so small unless they've come out of you, they're married to you, or they're on your payroll. You don't want anything to do with them. And she goes, and then it says across the screen,
Yes.
like, dark passenger loaded. And then she says to the camera, like, see, this is why she has to be on this show. She has to be here. She is the only one that can bring this out of me. You have to have her here. And I was like, this
Yeah.
is so cool. I love talking about this
Brilliant.
without the wall of the show.
Yes. And I think that's where we're heading. Like, you know, when they pretend that things are offending them for kind of bullshit reasons, but we all know it's because, like, for example, Liz on Rhode Island, like we've
Hmm.
talked about this so many times. Clearly, she has been offended because she's concerned about her portrayal on TV,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and that Joe Ellen's been behaving in a way for TV. It's not actually that she's really offended by anything that Joe Ellen really personally did to her. And we're dancing around things. And as viewers, we really know what is going on, but they're just kind of having to pretend, you know. And so I think if they can all talk about things more freely, I think it will make it a much better viewing experience for us. But I think about something like Salt Lake City though, and they don't really need to do that. So I'm actually in two minds about whether it needs to be more explicit or whether it's just certain shows. And I think maybe the Gen Z vibe, it works really well because they are just literally a completely different generation and their whole world is completely different. So,
Maybe it's different for us as podcasters because I personally feel like if I'm, recapping this show or I'm having a discourse about it, that's difficult to do when the fight that you're having is fake. You know what I mean? So maybe
yes.
it feels different for me because I want the the genuineness to come out of this show so that I can talk
Yeah.
about it. But doesn't it just feel like crap when you're podcasting with somebody who's just like, yeah, that person is only here for money. That person was only mad about money. This whole thing is about money, and that's all these fights are really about. It's like, okay, well,
Yes.
we've got about 25 minutes more here to
Yeah.
record it. You
What
know what I
else are
mean?
we going to
But
talk
like
about?
if that's what this
Yeah.
all is, then it just becomes a lot less interesting
Yes, so true. And I
for the
think going back
discourse.
to your point about OC, like they have not had my attention properly for years.
Yeah.
And it just like I was in the room when Andy announced that Vicky was coming back and gave her the orange, and that was like such an exciting moment at BravoCon. But I still don't even think Vicky can save the show because the
No.
others have spent so long pretending and making the most bullshit, boring, fake show that it's completely lost me when it was, the number one show. That was the gateway to this
Ugh.
entire world.
I have to be honest, like I'm dreading it. I like the idea
Yeah.
of thinking about recapping it. It just makes me want to hurl
Oh,
because I remember doing it last year and it felt like pulling teeth. And I feel like this year is going to be no different. I really do. And
yeah.
so I wish they had taken a different turn with it this year, different casting, different something, but no, they just went with, same old, same
Yeah.
old. But
Yeah.
speaking of new, fresh ladies, let's get into a Real Housewives of Rhode Island. This was a really good episode. What was interesting to me is like, I've been riding for Joellen pretty much this whole season. I always try to look at these characters as like, I mean, I have to try to think of them as a good person, or else how can I, kind of feel invested in one of them? But like, I have to be honest, I felt like she was doing a lot and
Yeah.
it felt a little unwarranted because this whole concept of how she feels like she was called a liar the whole season, to be honest, I can't recall how often that actually happened. She seems very upset about it. I don't know if there's like a mixture between her not having a job right now, she doesn't have a lot to do, and her being so angry with Rula, but I just don't understand like the level of vitriol. And as much as,
Mm.
listen, I'm an investigator. I love that she was pulling out receipts left, right, and center and how she was doing it in a really like hilarious way.
Yeah.
Like, of course I have more, Andy. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for asking. But at the same time, I was like, oh, it felt too much. Like we don't like Rula, and we know that Brian has done really bad shit, but it felt like when she was like, I'm not a girl's girl for you, I just felt like you just have to be in those situations. Like you came forward, you said your things. I just felt like she was doing so much. Rula is clearly not listening to you. Like, just let it die. It just felt cringy to me to get so involved in somebody else's marriage to this level.
Yeah. That's so interesting because I would normally have that response too. But for some reason, I was like, you are killing this, Joellen. Like, I was living for it. And I was like, yes, like, get them because we knew we weren't getting any truth from Brian. We know that Rula was like, honestly, like, going to the grave for this man and you could
Wild.
just see that like things were unfolding on the stage and she still had not, like, that man is just sitting there with the most horrific, lying, sheepish, guilty looking face the
And who
entire
told him to
time.
just say legal reasons?
Seriously. I mean, like, get out of here. There is nothing legal to discuss about your affair. Okay, the business situation will buy that if we have to.
I'm not sure if I
Absolute
even buy
crap.
that because when Rula was trying to explain what the lawsuit was that he was involved in with the mistress and some other person, all they were able to explain was that he sold parts of the business to her and then she sold her shares back. What's the lawsuit
Yeah.
about? I don't understand the
Yeah.
lawsuit part. So that's confusing. Then poor Rula's finding things out on stage, like you said, about like, wait, so she thinks Brian got divorced in 2010 and they got married in 2016. But then when
Hmm.
Brian comes out, he says he got divorced in 2012. Regardless, that
Yeah.
doesn't explain the 2016. Oh, and there was some other thing about like um Rula and Brian calling Jerry when they saw Liz canoodling with some guy on Block
Yeah.
Lake and or Block Lake, is that what it's called?
Block Island.
Block Island,
Yeah.
thank you. I knew something was wrong with it. And then Brian, and then Jerry's like, oh yeah, Brian did do that. And Rula's like, wait, what? Right. So she's literally finding out all those things in
Yes.
the moment, which is so embarrassing for her. But at the same time, this just had like a different vibe. I don't know that we've ever had a man on stage who has openly cheated and we're all just sitting here talking about it in
I
that
mean,
way,
Joe
where they're still married.
Giudice.
No,
He
have
was
we
like the
though?
hint.
He was questioned
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. You know, when he was like,
Who
my
was on the
bitch
call?
wife.
Yeah,
Yeah. Who's on the
but that's
call?
it, right? Like
And
this is
then
somebody who
like,
says that he did it, and now we're just
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it this whole episode. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. And I like to come out there and face the music. I know he's like damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Because if he didn't come up, it would be like Will not turning up on Southern Hospitality. And it's
Right,
like, what it, face up to the music. You've created
right.
such a mess here. But as one of the guys said to him at the end, in fact, it was beautiful, Jared. He was like, you have to tell Ruler everything.
And he looked
Otherwise,
at her
this is,
confused. He looked at
yeah.
Jared
He's
confused. He
like,
was like, "What do you mean?"
yeah, because probably there is so much more that is not being said. And I actually believe every single thing that Joellen said. I believe she knows
I
the
do
truth
too.
about everything. And maybe the affair did just end. And, she said it was this year. Now we're in 2026. They were filming in 2025. And Ruler was telling everyone it was over in the summer. Then he's kind of copped to maybe October. So then she
Right.
just jumps along with that and says, okay, yeah, well, I think it was October. But she doesn't really believe that. That's the first time she's hearing it. Meanwhile, Joellen's talking about texts between the lovers in November and at Christmas time and telling it only ended this year. Now, they only filmed this a few weeks ago.
Right.
So we are almost in July. So it's almost a full year since they were filming. So, like, how many years? And the other thing, sorry, I'm ranting now. The other thing he did was he called her
His
his
partner.
partner.
I noticed that. I wrote that down. My
Like,
former partner. That's not,
yes.
I mean, I don't want to diminish her and call her like an ugly name. That's not what this is about, but she's not your partner. She was never your
Yes.
partner. Are you serious? That gives
Well,
this an established relationship vibe. When was the
yes.
last time someone called me their partner? Not for some time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
wow,
Like
it was so
it,
weird. I
yeah,
would be so offended by that as Rula.
same. Same. It's one thing to say, look, this woman I was seeing, or,
That
whatever.
hoe.
And yeah, but like you could even respectfully identify her in a way that's not, but to say partner, that is. And, the fact that Jerry and Joellen, not Jerry, Gary and Joellen are saying they met them in a bar and she
Yeah.
introduced him as her boyfriend. And again, bang, news flash to Rula. She'd never heard that before.
But she's
So,
also
like,
barely reacting. And like on one end, I know she feels like in defense mode because she hates Joe Ellen. This is also like her husband, her family, her whatever. But like you said, she's finding out new things on the dime. There's also so many things you can't really defend. And it's just, this must have been like brutal for her. It's hard to tell because her face isn't
yeah,
moving that much. But
not
I,
at
I feel
all.
like this must have been really, really difficult for her. And I love that Andy was trying, right? He's just like, most people who are in the midst of an affair might not come on a reality TV show. Or no, wait,
Yeah.
the best part, because we still don't know why he put the tracker on her car. In the episode, Rula says that she asked him and he didn't give her a straight answer. Andy asks, he claims the whole legal reasons again, but then says that, listen, it was a good thing. Let me explain. They put this no contact order in place for 4 weeks. I couldn't talk to Rula, and it made me realize that I miss her so much. And Jared just went like so bug-eyed, like, this is horrific, right? Some of the other men are trying to
Seriously.
defend, well, it's like, I ever find my friends. And it's like, that's not the same.
Yeah,
This
not
is
the
without
same.
consent.
Exactly. Exactly. If you both agree to, if I said to you, hey, Dana, let's share location, and you were like, yeah, let's do that. We have both agreed to do that. Like if
Right.
I put a tracker on your car without you knowing, that
That's
is
a crime.
ll.
Right.
Yes.
But we
So
still don't
like,
know why he did it. And I love that Andy
no,
called
we
out why
know.
he thought he did it. But no, like,
We know why.
no, I know why, but it's crazy that he hasn't said it. And it's crazy that he really tried to get out of everything with the legal reasons, even just to say, like, what was the case that he said was dismissed? What was the thing that he said was dismissed?
I
Because
think
they
it was
had,
that. It was about the tracker, wasn't it? And the domestic
oh,
the
maybe, but
following
then
domestic
just, yeah,
violence
well, I can't talk
charges.
about it. It's been dismissed. Well, if it's been
Yeah.
dismissed, like, then you can talk about it, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sure someone told him, go, but just don't answer anything and answer
Yeah.
with, I can't give you that information for legal reasons, right?
Yeah.
Give them the old Erica Jane. And it's, then
Yes.
don't come here, though, if you're not going to answer
Yeah.
anything. It just makes us madder.
100%. And I would have loved for Alicia's husband, who revealed himself to be like a serious lawyer, to have been asked, okay,
A lot of people
well,
are saying that.
yeah, like, well, could he? I mean, he seems just like such a nice guy and, it isn't messy. But I would have loved Andy to have directed a question to him and say, from your understanding of the legal system, once a case is dismissed, are you able to talk about it? You
Right.
know, it's just like the guy is so full of shit. He is such a bad liar. He is a mess of anxiety. I will say, and I say this reluctantly because he's a piece of shit, but like there is a part of me that worries about his mental health. There is like a vibe, like I
You
would
mean
be
with the internet?
concerned about him, you know, like maybe in the way of like Taylor's husband, you know what I mean? Like when the heat is so on Taylor from Beverly Hills,
Um,
I worry like could he hurt himself because like this
you
is
think?
he
I'm
feels
not
like
getting that vibe.
a very weak man. He's got no character. He's got no, Joe Judice was so resolute and like, don't fuck with me. He was cheating left, right, and center. Jacqueline the reader said, what I think it was her, like, you were like, who was the girl you were caught like fucking on your desk, basically, that kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
There was so much out there. We all knew he was doing bad shit, but he was strong and doubled down. No one's going to tell me whatever. I love my wife and shut up. And this guy sits there like a ghost and he's like got panic written all over his face and he's scared to open his mouth because he has mountains and mountains of lies that he is holding on to. Like this guy's going to give himself cancer at this point. Like he is holding so much in and such a dishonest person. I don't know what the hell Rule is fighting for. I don't know why.
Honestly, in my opinion, like I understand the concept of wanting to stay together for the children, but your children at some point are going to be privy to this footage, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing
Yeah.
for your children. It's embarrassing for your family. I mean, I've been saying this whole season, I'm like, is this a joke? Are they doing
Yeah.
this as a joke? Or are they just like playing this off? Because like it was just so obvious what was happening. It was like a
Yeah.
car wreck where you couldn't look away.
Yeah.
But I just I don't want to say like, she can do so much better. We don't really know her that well, but like anyone who is being like so obviously disrespected in such a
Yeah.
public way, like I can't
Yes.
even fathom staying with somebody like that just for the
No.
kids. You know what I mean?
And it continues to this day. Like I'm sure there was even more that came out of the reunion, surely, right? And then
Yeah.
they've gone home and she's had to deal with it. And now it's airing again and we're all talking about it again. And she's continuing this life, like the stress on her. And as you say, it's so damaging for the children to the
Right.
level of toxicity that must exist in that home, unless they are the world's most compartmentalized people. I just, you know, cannot understand how that could be healthy for
Yeah.
anybody. It's Lenny Hochstein.
Mm,
It's like we've seen all this before. Like nobody should be living in the house with this level. They should be in therapy. They should be
he should be in
probably,
therapy.
yeah, 100%.
No, but
I
there's like
mean,
something wrong with it. I mean, Rula had sort of implied that he was going to see someone like back when he got the tracker on his car to like figure out why he was doing these kinds of things.
mm,
But like you said, he's spiraling. So much is going on. He needs to get some help because
totally.
he's not a good man for his family, for his kids, or for television, right? Like again,
No.
this is somewhat entertaining, but also just very bizarre.
So,
I'm
yeah.
really curious what you think about Alicia and sorry, I always forget his name. Is it Bill? Bill.
Billy.
Okay, because there's a Bill and a Billy,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I'm curious what you think about this because there was this moment, I don't know if you caught it, where Ashley says, like, Bill is never going to leave you with nothing, right? Like, now that I've gotten
Yes.
to know him, he is so great. He's for sure going to leave you with half. He is an amazing guy. And she goes, he's all right. Did you catch that?
Yes. I caught that.
And so
Yes.
I think they seem adorable, right? We love her. We love their whole little vibe. We love the
Yeah.
way she talks all her little things. But if you think about it, they've been engaged for a really long time. He did it in sort of like a crummy way. So then he presents her with it on the show, right? Then on the reunion, he presents her with a contract to get a 50-50 share of Pizza Mama. And so I hate to say this about like a 50-something-year-old man, but he kind of gives performative because he's only doing these big
Yeah.
gestures that she's been wanting for years on camera.
Yes. However, she revealed a little bit more, right? Where she was like, I don't know, you talk about numbers and I'm like checked out. Like, I don't want to have a meeting. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so I get that. I hate numbers. Maths was never my strong suit. I
Okay.
get it.
Yeah.
But like, girl, like I think probably he has tried and he loves her and thinks she's adorable and her like vagueness and like ditziness is super cute. Like
It is
like
so cute.
it is. And I think he loves that about
Cracker.
her.
Yeah.
But you know what he should do? Like really is like say, Alicia, come on, I'm gonna retain a lawyer for you. I'm going to pay for it. We're going to go to a meeting. I'm going to get them to explain everything
Yeah.
to you. So it's not me. I want you to feel safe and secure in this relationship. I think she is secure in terms of finance, not because in Ashley's like fairyland of he would never do that to you. Like, no, we need like divorce. We know the most beautiful people in the world can become the worst in the world in a
Absolutely.
separation, right? Like, so you do need things in writing. It sounds like they are. It sounds like he has got her covered in the trust. And even Ruler was like, yeah, it's like it means that, you're named in this. And so the assets go to you. And she just needs to have that explained because I feel like he's had to be performative about this because she just doesn't get it and she hasn't wanted to sit down and listen to it. He's like, you're
Fair,
in the
but when was the
trust.
trust created? It sounds recent. Like,
Good
it's not like
question.
it's existed this whole time when you've had all these years, right? So,
Yeah.
but I am glad that he's doing it. Like, either way, I'm glad
Yeah.
that he's giving it to her because she does deserve it, right? And it is a terrifying
Yeah.
thing to be with someone for that long and you have no assets of your own coming in. I mean, she has the show
Yeah.
now, right? And she's the
Yeah.
star. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
and it's not like
Yeah.
she isn't putting the work into Pizza Mama. She's come up with ideas and all of these things. She's had
Yeah.
such an impact. So it feels not even just you want to feel from your partner that you're valuable in many senses, right? And again, she
Yeah.
deserves it. So to feel like, no, you're not worthy of the respect or the money. I think it's more about the respect for her. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just want
I
something to
mean,
show that I'm a part of this.
100%. I
Yeah.
totally get that. But I also think like wasn't there isn't it her that's been stalling getting married because of her childhood issues with her dad? So maybe in his mind, you become my wife and legally everything becomes yours anyway. And so
But there was the
he
prenup
proposed to
situation.
her.
That's where this all came from. He
Right,
didn't,
yeah.
right. Remember? So
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
he was going to give her nothing. So that's why he gave her this 50-50 share. And that was another one of the reasons why she wasn't going to marry him. It wasn't just the dad, it was
Yes,
also
that's
the
right.
prenup and that he wasn't
Okay.
leaving her anything. So we were kind of like,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yeah.
Bill. You're adorable,
And
but
just put her
Bill.
name on the house. Like, okay, okay, it's in a trust. Does that mean, let's make an example, if
See, we don't even
my,
know what it is.
yeah, but like if my parent had a property and it's in his name and it belongs to him, but he's made a legal trust where he's said, in the event of my death, this property goes to my daughter. Is that what that is? So my name is not on the property right now, but it becomes my property in the event of his passing and the trust then being enacted. Come on, we need the lawyers to chime in here and let us know because I think,
I don't know. It is not
yeah,
my forte,
that's like
but
that's kind of what I'm guessing.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. We did get a little more about Kelsey, but to me, I kind of feel like we still didn't like get that full crack of the nut of an answer, which is funny because
Mm,
Andy is so good at that with everybody else. But I feel like you should have been like, when exactly did you break up with him? Because we have Kelsey being like, well, first he wanted to be on the show. He was part of my audition tapes, my ex, my ex, my ex. But then once he found out it was Housewives, he didn't want to be on it because he loves Housewives or something like that. And he
mm,
thought that he wasn't going to be able to control the situation, which now you've had even less control, sir, because you're not on it
yep.
and where you've got to talk about you. But then she's like, no, I'd break up with him for like 2 or 3 times a year or something like that. So now she's sort of putting the timeline in dispute. But it was interesting that nobody fought her on that. It's a big story, right?
Yeah.
Like that was sort of what's
Yeah.
been out there this entire season. I'm surprised it wasn't addressed more.
Well, you know what I thought? The audition tapes would have been years ago
No,
because
true.
we've been hearing about this
Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah, that's
And so
true.
maybe 2 years ago they were together, which is what Rosie was kind of alluding to or
But you're
saying
filming now,
outright.
right? Like you were lying about what you were filming
Yeah.
about. It's still lying. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe it was just a financial arrangement by the time they started filming. And so that's what she's claiming is complicated because, maybe she wasn't like officially with him, but he was still paying for things and she was relying on him in that kind of sugar daddy kind of way, but dating Billy.
the fact that that man, I don't know if he really was celibate for a year, but the fact, what
No.
kind of man are you? I hate to be like that, but what kind of man are you that sits back and is like, I'll wait. I want to sex with
Yeah.
anyone else while you keep having sex with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
You know what I think it is? I think he loves her so much he went along with the lie. I think it's a
It's
lie.
hard to
And I
tell
was
because he's so
watching,
quiet, but maybe.
I know, but I was watching his expression
Yeah.
and there was something he said that was almost like, Andy was like, "Were you really celibate for like a whole year?" And he was like, "Yeah, and he was almost about to, and then I think Kelsey jumped in with, like, yes, that's how much he loves me or whatever she said. But I feel like he was about to say, you know, more or less. Like maybe we were like hooking up, but not like having sex, but like we would have these clandestine meetings and like hump each other and make out. I don't know, you know what I mean? Or maybe she was
Yeah.
given some BJs or like whatever. But I got the sense there was more to the story that he didn't want to, he's protecting her because he clearly just adores her, And she is a vault. She needs to go on the traders. Like she would give nothing. I feel like she is so strong in not wanting to say things and
Yeah.
doesn't crack, where the others
Yeah.
you can see it
From a
really
mile away.
clearly.
No, that's a good
Yeah.
point. Okay, the whole thing with the brain tumor in the pageant, though, I had heard the story, right? I had seen the
Yeah.
announcer, I've seen the clips where the announcer's like, it's not a rumor, she had a tumor. But I did not know that she delayed her brain tumor surgery to do the pageant. And I think she expected
Yeah.
a different response, like, wow, you're
Yeah.
strong, you're
Yeah.
powerful. And it's like, what? You could have gone blind and then you decided that
Yes.
it was more important to do the pageant. That is so, do you understand this reference? That is so Janelle going to the Kesha concert instead of prison. Do you remember that?
100%, 100%. But it's Kesha. Yes. Oh my God, I love a Teen Mum throwback. Yes, completely.
I don't know
It's
what to do with
exactly
that. I want
that.
to be like proud of you.
No, I know. It's so vapid. Like
Wait, but did she
that's,
win?
yeah, I think she was Miss Rhode
Oh,
Island.
well,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. So maybe it was worth it. I don't know what came from that, except like the sash and the frame, title. But like when I was looking at it last night, the whole beef between Kelsey and Rosie,
Hmm.
does it literally actually stem back to sitting at the beach and Rosie, like, I'm sorry, you can say what you want, but like Rosie is messy as hell. She knows what she's doing. She does something with a straight face. She gives there's a little twinkle in her eye. And then she threw in oh, but like, isn't Kelsey a polygamist? Oh, I'm just saying this so innocently, but I thought she was. And she was even doing that with Brian. She was like, Brian, you just got to like tell us the date and then like Joellen will stop because like she wants the juice, like she is
Yeah.
nosy
Okay.
Rosie.
I definitely agree with you at the beginning of the season. I think she was trying to figure herself out and was giving that vibe, right? She was definitely like throwing little grenades and seeing what would happen.
Yeah.
But then I felt her pull herself back. Like, I think she got really stressed out by everything and trying to figure out her place in all of this. I got a different vibe from her for the rest of the season. And maybe it was because my mind on her sort of changed, but I saw maybe
Mm,
more of a softness. And then in the reunion, I didn't know what to call it, but I was curious to chat with you about it, like almost like a deadpan sort of face, but then saying all the
mm,
things she wanted to say, but having no expression. And to me, it was giving like, when she was doing it to Kelsey, it was sort of giving like a, not pretentious, but like, I don't want to call
too
it that. It's like
cool.
yes, I'm too cool, or I'm. It gives
Yeah.
I'm right. It gives I'm right because you're having no reaction. It's almost like,
Yes.
well, if you want to call it 5,000, we'll call it 5,000 if that's what makes you
Yes.
happy. It makes the other person
Yes.
feel lower or immature for the way that they're acting, and I liked it. I thought it was a good
Yes.
tactic. I thought it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. It irritated me. And I
Sure,
think
but it
that
worked.
is the point,
Yeah,
Like she's like, you can't fight with someone who's not going to fight back. I'm just sitting
right.
here,
Great
yeah,
point.
whatever. I didn't like her little snide comment, like the side comments all the time. That
Hmm.
annoyed me as well. But that's the whole point of these things, and they all
Right.
do it. So I
I was
can't
gonna say
like
I would
take
have
that
done the
away.
same. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, is that really where all of this chaos between the two of them came from? And I think she pulled back and got softer. I know what you mean because I obviously saw that too. But it was because she felt like nobody liked her. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, everyone hates me now because she
Yeah.
went too hard. She came in as this kind of nobody, messed everything up, threw all those grenades, and then everyone was like, no thanks, apart from Ashley. And then she had to kind of worm her way back in with a softness and with a like tread on the eggshells a little bit more,
But then don't you feel like there was more there for Kelsey to go at her for? Because the things that Kelsey chose to go at her for this season were ridiculous. And even you have
Yeah.
Kelsey in this episode trying to like walk it back a bit, being like, oh, I don't think that she lost her job because of some guy, but it wasn't totally clean, but it was sort of, and everybody goes, wait, what? What are you saying? Like, I was literally trying to write it down. I watched it a
Yeah.
few times. It was her just sort of trailing off into nowhere. She's trying to imply that Rosie lost her job due to like an affair with like a higher up and not her butt bleeding. Um, it's it's one or the other, but she doesn't
I mean,
have anything
seriously.
real, and I think she's starting to realize that, and then she starts to kind of walk it back. I just feel like everybody has something on them, right? Like if you're gonna
Mm,
come in like Joellen does with something on your phone, something
yeah.
concrete. Even Rosie, who wasn't allowed to bring it out, she brought her own Elle Woods briefcase there to bring
Seriously.
out some like printed out pieces of paper, which
Yeah.
guys, it's 2026. You don't need to print anything, okay? Like
Use your
let's
phone,
get
babe.
digital. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
Seriously.
Joellen was
But
able to be like, boom, bing,
yep.
number four.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. So good. Joellen to me, hands down, like was the star of this show. She was
Yeah.
so composed. Even when like Ruler, I think it was Ruler. It looked like and sounded like a completely different person. But, she's standing up, you're a whore. I don't know what's worse, but what's coming out of your mouth or what's between your legs. Like, she was so reactive. And of course, I understand why. It's horrific. She was like a broken woman, and I get it. But like she and Brian could have saved so much of this if, as they were all saying, he had just said, you know what, I have completely fucked up. I owe some conversations to Ruler. I'm not going to do it here, guys, and I'm really sorry. I'm not going to give it to you, but Ruler, hand on heart, I'm going to be straight with you. And when we leave here today, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it all. We would all be like, oh,
What else?
amazing.
Because what else can you say, right? It's almost like
Yeah.
with Wes Wilson, we were annoyed almost in a way that he kept saying, like, yeah, you're right, because we didn't know what to do
Yeah.
with that. The very few times he
Yeah.
spoke, like when Dara said things to him, like, you make women like mold and fold into what you want them to be. He's like, yeah, that's true. You can't then
Yeah.
be like, you asshole, because you don't
Yeah.
agree with me. You know what I mean? So, but like,
Yes.
just say you are really sorry, and then no one will know what to say back to you. But because you keep lying, because you are not giving answers for fake legal reasons,
Yeah.
because you're so red and sweaty, and like, I. The way he got so passive with Joellen was a choice. I thought it was really interesting
Mm,
because she was being so loud and aggressive. And then he says, Joellen, can I ask you, like, what do you get out of this? Right. But the way he did it was so like demure and mindful that I wonder
yes.
if it was like a tactic to be like, well, look at how I'm acting and look at how you're acting. And, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
incorrect. But it's just such an interesting thing. I
See,
mean,
I saw that moment as just like he is so like he's like the dog with his tail between his legs, but he doesn't have the courage to be honest about anything. And it's like I'm even just keeping my mouth really small because like I'm like really scared like all of my truth's gonna start tumbling out. So like even in that moment, it's like he genuinely was asking her, what is the point here? And then Gary starts chiming in and it's like, because you called her a liar. We all know you did these things. Like, just cop to it. And he
yeah.
just could not loudly and clearly admit to anything. He's mumbling and fumbling and blurring and telling the boys one thing and Ruler another. And it's like if he just keeps things vague, it'll all just go away. And
Yeah.
like, no, honey, this is the Bravo world. That is not going to happen. It's only going to get worse and more is going to come out. And it's terrible. Like, the ex-wife has already posted, or ex-mistress
The
has already
ex-partner,
been posting. Sorry, the partner, the
the
ex-partner.
ex-romantic partner.
Yeah, she's already like posting, like, I got it
Oh,
all. Like, come and get it. At this point, she should just bloody release everything. Like, just let it all out. Don't, maybe she's hoping she'll get on next season or
that's what I
someone
hear.
will have a sit down with her. The
Yeah.
other thing I
I mean,
hear,
Mihal got to sit down, right? Mihal got to sit
yes,
down. So you never
totally.
know. But like, what
Yeah.
do you think they're going to come back, Rula and Brian?
Yeah. Because you
You
know
do?
what?
Both of them?
I do. I do because to put your family through that, when you actually knew, as Andy said, when you knew you were already in the midst of something, Ruler thought it was ending, Brian was continuing it, and they still made a conscious choice to go on a show and think they could get away with bluffing and saying this is our business. And that to me screams, I want the fame and all the things that come along with that over anything else. Because why else would you do it? There is no way.
For sure. Unless you are that dumb. But like you said, if his mental health is suffering, you would think that he would sort of make a decision as to whether this is the best for their family. I mean, did they not, maybe I made this up, did they not say somewhere at some point this was the stupidest thing they ever did going on this show?
I'm not
Didn't they? And
sure.
then someone said not the affair, it was the show. Was this the first reunion
Hmm.
taping? I don't
That
know.
I
Maybe I'm making
can't
it up, but it felt
remember.
like something that Brian said,
Okay.
maybe to somebody else. I'm not quite sure. But yeah,
Well, at
something to
the
the
end,
effect
he
of
said to the boys, like, you can thank me for making
for
it a
for
hit
getting you famous,
show.
right? So it just shows exactly what he's looking for here. But
Yeah.
like after the way this went, I'm surprised he's not too embarrassed to continue. I mean, if he continued, if they filmed another season, you you have no shame, which is, I
No.
guess, an admirable quality. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's a personality type I have yet
You
to
know what it
meet in
is?
real
It's when
life.
Stassi said about Kristen, she's not when they were gonna go to Katie and Tom's engagement party at Lisa and Tom or Lisa and Ken's house, and they
Yeah.
weren't invited, right? And Stassi's like, I'm not normally the type of person that can just like go somewhere where I'm not invited. Fortunately, Kristen is not burdened by those anchors. And Brian is not
Yes.
burdened by any anchors.
100%. Brilliant reference. Seriously. Like, It's the only explanation. The only other explanation is that Ruler wants this so bad,
No, yeah,
and
I
she
think
thought
so,
she
but
could be
she could
like
come
just
back
the hot
without him.
house.
Like technically.
Yeah, she could. She could. And that would be the best thing for her. And to then, she would have to come in completely differently with the girls and be like, Joellen, everything you said was right. I was furious.
I
I
can't
was
picture that.
coping. No, but like you can understand why Joelle, like and it sounds like there's a history of these people making phone calls to people and gabbing about people's business. Like they
Well, then they were
just
meant to
like,
be on this show, right? I guess
yeah,
it feels very
100%.
Jersey. It feels very
Doesn't it?
Housewives. It does feel
Doesn't it?
very, but at the same time, like I can't imagine putting my family in this situation to be ridiculed over
No.
year after year after year. So I'm curious to see what'll happen.
Yes.
And a lot of the men do end up deciding, I don't want to film as much or I don't want to film at all. Mary Cosby's husband, right? He
Yep.
hated the show and he didn't want to be a
Gramps.
part of it. So it's not like it doesn't happen, but I guess I have more respect for those ones than the ones who
Yeah.
are like, throw a camera in my face. I've just never seen anything quite like this. I've never seen
Yeah.
anyone literally flash a camera because that's what I feel like this
Yeah.
is, right? Like it
Totally.
just feels what to me?
Totally. Did we
I
see
don't know.
Lenny again after the hot mic and the separation? Did we see him? We
Mm-mm.
heard
No.
about him for years.
Yeah, because he was always in the news getting engaged to somebody, but no, we didn't see
Yeah.
him. Oh,
And
and
Lisa
then we
was,
had TK and Mauricio getting their own scenes after
oh,
divorces. That's
yeah.
ridiculous, right? So it's not
Yes.
unheard of. But
Yes.
I don't think. And then remember, I told you there was that one-on-one sit down with I keep forgetting the guy's name that Vicky used to date, Brooks.
Oh,
Brooks.
Brooks.
So
Yes.
sometimes they get their 15 minutes. Sometimes Bravo will give it
Yeah.
to them just out of pure morbid curiosity. I feel
Yeah.
like, but I don't. I could see Andy doing a one-on-one with this guy when their divorce finally comes around, right? And just being like, out of
Yeah.
curiosity, man, what's your deal?
Yes. Listen, the first man to have an affair, you won't be the last. But like, you did all of this so sneakily. You were lying the entire time. It's
No,
like,
but
let's come
sneakily, but
clean.
publicly. Like that's just why
So
I find it very
publicly.
odd. I've never
And
seen
like,
someone do an affair so publicly.
do you know what? He must have really been so in love with this other woman
You
because
think?
why else would he, imagine you're having an affair with someone and she starts posting about you online. And according to Joellen,
I'd
he
never talk to
told
her
her it
again.
was okay?
Oh, I missed that
And
part.
yeah, like he was telling her he's
I'd be like,
gonna
I can't trust this
leave.
girl. She keeps outing me.
Yeah. Yeah. But like that can only mean either he's so bloody stupid and he is such a like beta. He can't like get out of anything. He's like, oh, even Ruler said, oh, he was trying to like fizzle it out. Like, I'm sorry.
But
Don't you
remember
say to your
earlier in the
husband, like,
season, we thought that he was maybe doing this because he wanted Rula to divorce him. Remember
yeah,
we were saying that, which
yeah,
that was an explanation. That was like, okay, he's being very public about this. A lot of husbands sometimes tell their wives to go on Housewives to
yeah,
start the divorce process, a la
yeah.
Camille Grammer. But like,
Mm-hmm.
if that's not the case because they're still together or whatever, then why are I feel like we're spending too
Yeah.
much time trying to figure out the way a man's brain works, and I just don't.
Yeah. And I
I
think
feel like
this
we're
one
gonna lose brain cells
particularly,
if we keep on it.
yeah, I think we have. He is a very weak man, full
Yeah.
stop. You
Conclusion.
know,
Yeah,
conclusion. Yep. Did you hear though that the rumors that Liz may not be returning?
I didn't. That come
Yes.
out in the past couple of
I
days.
think this morning. I it may
Oh,
well for you maybe tonight.
okay.
Um, I'm sure I saw something where they're talking about potentially Liz not coming back, and there are two kind of schools of thought. One, she hasn't liked the public perception and the way she's been painted, which we know she's very sensitive about. But the other part of it is there's a lot of heat on Dino. Dino's the best friend. Dino's,
There's a
potentially going to
lot of
prison
heat
for
on Dino.
life. Yeah,
I forgot
and
about Dino. Okay.
so Dino, the best
No, no,
friend,
I know, but like he's getting a
yeah,
lot of heat.
in the sense of legal heat. So he is looking at life in prison, and then there are links allegedly to.
Wait, what are you talking about? Is this guy going to jail? Did I miss all of this? Has he
So
been
this
arrested for
guy,
something?
Oh yeah, like
Sorry, I missed
cocaine
all of
for
this.
cocaine smuggling, and it's like a big. I
Oh,
couldn't tell you exactly
why
the
didn't they bring
details
it up
now.
on the reunion?
Well, that probably you can't legally talk about. The only
But
thing
if it's
is
in the news,
when
why not? You can't
well
just
they
talk about what
talked
we all
about
know.
yeah, they said something about and I don't know when they filmed the reunion, so I
Hmm.
wonder if it was public then or not. But uh Jerry, is it
Yeah,
Jerry, Liz and Jerry? Jerry, Gary, Billy, they're
I
all
know,
kind
right?
of like the same name.
It's mostly
Yeah.
the men I can't tell apart at this
Yeah,
point, not the
same.
women.
So Jerry said something when they were talking about when Liz like intentionally was making out with that guy and wanted it to get back to Jerry. And then they said something about the link to Dino and did he know about it? And he's like, oh yeah, and he's getting so much like attention from this. And then you see Liz mouth, yeah, for all the wrong reasons. And
Oh.
I wondered if that was because the legal dramas had started, but there's been a lot of conversation around Jerry's deep sea fishing adventures and being gone 3 out of 4 weeks every month and question mark, allegedly, you know. So potentially, if they could be embroiled in this in some way, that would be the smart thing, is not to come
Yeah,
back to TV.
right.
Take the hint, old mate over there.
Well,
But
I'm sorry, how many people, because I've always questioned, like, if you are committing some kind of crime, don't go on, like, why are you going on reality TV? But we've seen them do it time and time again. You
yes,
would question, like,
it's
why would anyone be that dumb? But then, you
yes.
know,
Over and over again,
over and over again. Exactly.
every single franchise. But I think there must be some kind of um, arrogance that comes with getting away with something for a really long time, like Jen Shah, and Wendy, and what's his name,
Joe Giudice.
Asefo. Teresa and Joe Judas, like, you're getting away with it for so long. You're doing it in front of everyone's faces. You
There's
think
a
you're
thrill.
invincible.
Hmm.
Yeah. And clearly, you're
And what's
not.
it called?
And it
Like
makes
committing
it
a crime
worse.
in plain sight, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
in a
So,
way.
yeah, every single franchise, there's been something going on.
Yeah,
Your friend Brooks with the cancer scam, it all came out.
right.
So, you know, I just
You
think
can
it's
never fool the
wild.
Bravo audience. You know what I'm
You
saying? You
can't.
know,
You
we are
can't.
such deep investigators.
Yes.
Whether we do this if as our day job or as our night job, the Bravo
Yes.
fandom are sleuths and they will find out
Sleuths.
everything about you down to
Yep.
the kind of toothpaste used in the first grade and they will cut you for
Yes.
it. Okay.
A hundred
So, you know what I mean?
percent.
Think about it
Yep.
long and hard before you go on a reality TV show.
Yes.
Because it's not just
Yep.
about your current life, it's about your past life, it's about your future
Yep.
life, it's
Yep.
everything. And it's forever too. Like, there's so many people who aren't even on TV anymore that are still followed around and
Mm-hmm.
people are still interested in what they're doing for the rest of their lives. And that's just sort of how
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Like Love
That's
Island
it.
stars, for example, right? We see them for
Yes.
6 weeks and then I love seeing what Leah's. Oh, right. You don't know the season, but like from a couple seasons ago, season 6 was
Yeah.
sort of like the landmark season because that was the one where Ariana started. And
Okay.
one of my favorite couples to come out of there was Leah and Miguel. And Leah was sort of linked with Rob Roush earlier on. I'm sure you know him from The
Ah,
Traders,
of
right? But they
course.
ended up having a
Yeah.
lot of beef, and people never thought she was really meant to be with Miguel. They thought she always had the hots for Rob. And it's been like 2 years still going
Oh,
strong, right? I think we still have a
wow.
few couples from that season. So that's kind of exciting.
Amazing. Yeah.
I did drop off for a little bit because I was getting bored. I did start picking up again with Casa Amor. We're talking about Love Island USA, by the way.
Yep.
But I'm going to be so honest with you. It's really been like kind of a background show for me right now. I haven't been paying a ton of
Mm.
attention. Can you fill me in as to what's been going on
Yeah.
the past week?
Okay, so the boys were so badly behaved in Casa. So they basically lined up and it's like they walked into a strip club. And one by one, they brought out every girl and they were performing sexual acts. I'm sorry, but there's no other way to put
Sexual
it.
acts,
I mean,
Jana.
with a tiny bit of clothing on, but the men, boys, was so disrespectful. They were like, Corbin was constantly like, go to work,
Ew.
and it was like, honestly, like they were throwing money at them. They were like
Ew.
whacking them and grabbing
Ew.
them. And it was so gross. And
Wow.
like
I didn't see that online. Like
oh,
that
and
reception.
within minutes, they were like, Kenzie, who? I'm coming back. And Zach was the same, like, oh, I guess I like blondes now. And like they were really just revolting. And then Zach, who has been in a couple with Kader, and they're the ones that went to the hideaway and had sex. He came back single to be back with Kader. However, the girl that he was hooking up with in there was removed for racist posts
Alana, I
prior.
saw that. Okay, I didn't realize that
Yes.
was his girl. Okay, that's so interesting.
Yes.
So how many episodes was she on for? Like maybe three?
Yeah, maybe two or three.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And that's
so
not why he's not with her anymore because he didn't know about
And
that.
that's right. And like, look, we don't know what conversations were going on. Maybe he did actually say to her, look, I'm thinking about Cater. He was not thinking about Cater in those first couple of days. They
Yeah.
were so gross. It was honestly like the vibe was like these women were not human. These women were pieces of meat. They were like, they were spending the weekend in a brothel and they were like ripping it up. Not Bryce. Bryce was moping and sad, and like the Bryce and Trinity love story. I am so here for it.
Yes,
They
that I
have
am
to
here
win.
for.
They have to win. There's
Absolutely.
no question.
I did catch when Zach came back, and his vibe when he came back, as opposed to so many of the others, was like this very tee-hee, like
Yeah.
just being silly. We're fine. So, but again, I wasn't really paying attention to him in Casa, so I wasn't really getting a sense of what was going on there. But when he came back, he sort of was very much giving a vibe of like, it was nothing, it was no big deal,
Yeah.
tee-hee, silly, don't be mad at me. And like, do you
Yeah.
think that she has real reason to be upset?
Yeah, look, if she was watching that back, and I think, look, the tricky thing is we don't actually know what happened with Alana and him. We don't know if he did have a conversation and ended it, and he's like, you know what, like I got so carried away and was trying to explore and do the right thing, but I can't stop thinking about Kater, and it's all,
So he never
and we're
said.
done.
They
We
didn't
didn't
show a
know.
part where no.
It was literally just like, what, next minute, Alana has left the casa. Now Bryce is walking across the yard. Like it was just literally moved on. No
Well, that's really
explanation.
weird because when Sierra was kicked off last year, there was this girl who was kicked off for some racist stuff that had come out about her online. She was mid relationship with this guy, Nick. And so they said, like, Sierra has left, but then they show a scene of him, like, at least reeling from it a little bit, right? Like, you can't just
Oh,
pretend somebody else wasn't there a second ago, but they were in
oh,
like an established relationship and they were
okay.
from the villa. So maybe it could have been considered different, but
Okay.
it or there was a moment also last year where Paige DeSorbo, she headlined like a challenge, and then all of a sudden she was gone, and they're like, Paige had to go. And it's because she got so sweaty in her suede outfit that she passed out, right? So sometimes
Oh
they
my
just like
God.
randomly are like, somebody's gone. And it's like,
Yeah.
context, context.
Yes. Like just give the reason. We're all talking about it online.
She's a
Like just,
racist prick. We had to send her home.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. But like, so I've been told that movie night is a thing, right? Where they
Right.
come and they show like salacious bits that the others haven't seen. So I would
Right.
love for Kater, because I love Kater. I think she's really great and she's so stunning. And, she's like a tough girl. Like I really like her vibe. But she's so head over heels and giddy for this guy, to use their word, giddy. That's what they talk about to describe things. Um, and I just feel like she needs the full picture, and I
Yeah.
want her to not just buy. And she was talking to this guy Che, but she never kissed him outside of a challenge. Like she was exploring, as in like hanging out and chatting, and but she
But
wasn't
nothing more.
ever. There was no relationship situation where
Yeah.
Zach was in bed with her and like they were making out, and it was like a different thing. Same with Sincere, this kid. The face, did
The
you watch
most
the
insincere.
and you know what? Like, I had such a soft spot for him. I think he's so cute and like not in like a I want to bang you way, like almost in a maternal way. Like,
Yeah.
I feel
Puppy
really
dog
like,
way.
yeah, he's so cute. And like doesn't really fully know what he's doing yet in this world. And I know they're all young, and I know their frontal lobes have a long way to go before being fully developed. And maybe that's
Good
the
point.
key to a show like this is you have to be fully undercooked to really just have no
You know,
shame
they're only
to
allowed 2 drinks a day.
yes.
So, you don't even have substances either, right? So you kind of
Yes.
need that, like, what do you call it? Like the
Lack of critical thinking.
control. Yeah. That just
Yeah.
comes with naturally being young as opposed to
Yeah.
substances.
Totally. Totally. So, he unfortunately, like, I think he thinks he's doing the right thing by women by telling
They
them
keep
what they
saying
want to
that.
hear
Hmm.
and like, you know, being really lovely and loving and with the girl that he's with, but he's not really being honest, I think, with himself and with them. And he's going to learn the lesson that he needs to learn, which is you can do whatever you want in this world with whoever you want, as long as you're honest and
Yeah,
that everybody who's involved with you is fully aware of what the rules are. And if you
right,
are I'm someone that sleeps around a lot and I'm not going to be in an exclusive relationship, then they can make the decision of whether they want to be involved with that or not. And
right.
so they have brought back Amora, who is the girlfriend he had in Casa,
Hmm.
and that poor kid's face, it was like someone just ran over his dog, and he is like, oh shit. Because the last thing he said to her when he was leaving Casa was, if we'd had more time, it would have been you.
Ugh.
So here he goes, and he comes back to Melanie, and he's like, it's always you. It was always going to be you.
Ugh.
So this is going to be one to watch. I think it's about to get really, really sticky. And can I just
Yeah.
also comment on Anaya? Did you see
Yes, Anaya
Anaya's?
and Casey. I was just
Oh,
shocked by this because, they had an established 3-week relationship. And in only
yeah.
3 days, he was able to establish enough with somebody else. But then to be so cruel about it, in my opinion, like the body
Yes.
language, the looking down, there should be apologies, right? And like he was
Yes.
kind of leaving it all up to Titi to have the conversation, who has just met all of
Totally.
these women. But the girlhood of everyone just holding her hands and being there for her, I loved
Yeah.
that. But I was shocked. I was shocked because he
Yeah.
has been reassuring her for so long. So this really, out of all
Yes.
couples, shocked as fuck.
Oh, and the gut-wrenching like heartbreak that she went through, crying for like what felt like the entire day and the entire night. And she looked so sad in the challenges and every like that girl is so, so heartbroken. And I feel so sad for her. And it feels like, this is like a culmination of maybe previous experiences of like not feeling chosen or good enough or whatever it is, even though
We've
she
all
is
been
like, I
there.
think, yeah, we all have. But, to feel like she was asking him for
Blindsided. It's
reassurance all
being
the
blindsided,
time.
I feel like, you
Yeah.
know?
And he gave her the reassurance. He called her the
Yes.
blueprint. He told her, like, you are like the women in my life. I love, black women with like bodies like yours, with personalities like yours. Like you are
Yeah,
a
very specific compliments
goddess.
like that. I really liked
Yes.
that. They weren't just generic. They were so
Same.
specific to her.
So
And like,
specific.
I, yeah, I feel like all we want as women, well, me specifically, I know I need that reassurance so much. And it can
Mm.
almost fuck with you where, I'm sort of dealing with this in my job in a way right now where I've been dumped by jobs in the past, right?
Yeah.
So at my current job, despite the fact that they're very nice to me and they're telling me that I'm doing great and that they love me, well, they're not saying they love me, but I feel like they're going to break up with me any moment and I'm
Yeah.
going to get dumped at my job, right? And I feel
Yeah.
like she's going to end up in these situations again because she's going to be getting reassurance from people, but she's not going to believe the reassurance because she knows that reassurance can just as quickly turn around in 2 seconds and become the
Yeah.
exact opposite. And it's going to fuck with her.
Yeah. And you're 100% right. And that's a great example, like carrying the pain of the experiences we've had. Like we all do that. And it takes time for us to trust the new
Yeah.
environment again, your workplace, a new relationship, whatever it is. I just like, I know we see everything as viewers, so we knew that Casey was a piece of shit when once, as the minute he got to Casa, he and Corbin were as bad as each other. They were gross boys in the whorehouse, you know,
But
and
don't
I'm
you feel
not
like you
calling those
expected it of
women.
Corbin? He was always giving that slutty
Yes,
vibe.
totally.
Yeah.
But not actually to the degree that he went. Like, he was sneaky and he was
Yeah.
asking, Melanie, can I get another kiss? But like he wasn't being gross and disrespectful and like treating these women like honestly like it was
Like
a
meat.
steak he was devouring. Like it was so revolting. And the way he was talking about it, like, we deserve this, yo, and it's like, what do you deserve this for? Like, I'm sorry, these are people, these are women who are human beings who are looking for a
Sorry, were you being deprived
relationship.
somewhere else? Were you being like
Yes,
starved to death over at the villa?
exactly. Exactly. Like Kenzie is like a hypersexual being and more power to her. Like he was getting it. Like his life was great over
He's
there.
acting
Like,
like he's been celibate for 20 years.
yeah, which is what Casey was basically alluding to, that he wasn't getting anything from grandma. Like he actually called her grandma.
He did
And
not.
like, yeah, yeah, she's
I
like a
missed that.
grandma with her like going straight turning over and going straight to sleep. Like the way that he talked about her was disgusting and
Goodbye, sir.
so.
Goodbye, sir.
Yes. So incongruent with the way that he was behaving in there. And so, on the one hand, I completely understand her entire world collapsing, thinking like, finally, this is a man who is saying everything I've ever dreamed of. But the minute he's not with me and we're in challenges, like people are saying things and there are red flags being raised, and everyone was telling her, like, pick Carl, don't go back to this piece of shit. Like, he is not it. And I, like, why couldn't she listen? Why couldn't she? Is it just because
Because
we
your
could
heart is
see
where your heart is,
everything?
you know?
True, true. And maybe she was like, look, Melanie's going back to Sincere, you know, Kate is going back to Zach. Like, it's going to be okay. The boys are all going
Yeah.
to come back, But
And I hate how she stood there
unfortunately,
and was like, I feel so stupid, you know? But like, that's why
yes.
I was so glad she had
Oh.
that girlhood and the women to be like, you are not stupid.
Yes, and the way they all came to bat for her. But the thing that people are talking about online is that Melanie and Kenzie disappeared from the scene at
Oh, I
one
didn't notice
point.
that.
So when they were going to town on KC, they were gone. So
Or would they be?
there's question marks of like, were they going so hard that they had to be, when TT was like giving it to Trinity,
Yeah.
they disappeared. And so I heard Bergie say with Ryan that, look, the other thing is, it may not have even been that, but we all get kind of like diarrhea basically in Fiji. And sometimes like you just have to like run to the bathroom. But
No, maybe.
maybe, but like I find it a little bit weird that they would both suddenly need to run at the same time. It sounds more like they were removed. Maybe they were getting threatening and I don't know.
Who
But
knows?
I'd need that to be
Craziness.
explained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate that they made up with TT later because like the girls
Yeah.
are supposed to be friends. Like it's supposed to be
Yeah.
what we're doing. And like
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion, like these outfits that they put women in, even Ariana's outfit with the red leather with like the butt
Yes.
crack out. I was just
Yes.
it's wild, but like the way that they're pulling it off. I mean, these bodies, my God, body yaddy
Yes.
yaddies, right? And it's up
Seriously.
close and it's underneath and it's
Yes.
right in front. I'm like,
Slow
wow,
motion. I know.
wow.
I know. I was like mesmerized by this
I didn't even look
ass
like that as a
shaking up the
baby. You
stairs.
know, I wasn't that cellulite
Yes.
free at birth, let alone
Yes.
now, right? I'm just like,
Totally.
I don't know that I would ever let anyone take an upshot of my ass while I'm walking
Hell
in
no.
heels.
Hell no. And slow motion as
No
well.
amount of
I
money. No
never, ever,
amount.
ever, ever, never in a million, nothing, not $1 billion could make me do that and air it for the world to see.
So much respect for those women, I have to
Whoa.
tell you.
Yeah. Seriously. So in terms of like the lore of Love Island,
Yeah.
has Megan been going there like every year or
I
like,
don't know if it's every year, but she was definitely there last year.
okay,
And she was on something else. Was it something else Love Island related? But yeah, the last 2 years she was definitely there for something like promotion wise for her brand.
okay,
And you could see her like giving out all of that stuff. I forget what it was called, but having her do
okay,
the challenges. But yeah, I don't. It sort of seems
okay.
like anyone who mentions that they like the show gets to be on it, basically.
I like the show. I love it.
I don't have time to watch 50 fucking episodes of Love Island with you, okay?
Seriously, seriously. Well, I now do. I am making the time. I am
Making the time. Oh,
obsessed.
you know what? Everyone is talking about how good UK is, and I haven't dipped into that
Ah,
ever. You know how I
yeah.
am with accents. Do you know how I am with accents? So I'm weird about it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't like
I
them.
know, but you seem to
But
cope with mine.
not. I love Australian accents. That's the only one that I like. It's sorry, it's not even about a like. And somebody told me it's actually like a therapist had told me. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's like a condition. It's like a
Yeah.
I forget what
Like a
it's called. I thought
misophonia or something. It's
okay, yeah,
like
something like
yeah.
misophonia, which I used to think was a mesophony word, but basically it means people who get really like irritated by the sound of like someone's chewing or noises and things like that.
Yes.
But yeah, it's something like that where like I it's painful for me to
Yeah,
hear like
interesting.
but not just accents, even like imitations, impersonations, like any kind of weird
Ah,
noises. Like I don't like that.
yeah.
Um, why did I bring that up? What were we talking?
Is it because I was doing accents just then and
No, we're talking about Love
impersonations?
Island. Oh, right, Love Island
Um,
UK. So that's why I can't watch Love
yeah.
Island UK. But you know what? I think I will. I think I'll definitely dip in because I'm hearing it's so, so good. But again, such a huge commitment. You can't be like concurrently watching Love Island USA, Love Island UK,
No way.
Bravo, Bravo, fucking Bravo, and have a full-time
Yeah,
job, right? So something's got to give, and I'm
seriously.
not sure which one it's going to be, but something's got to give.
Right.
In the meantime, Yana, where can people find you if they want to listen to you and see what you have going on and all that stuff?
They can find me. And also, thank you everybody for listening and enjoying this collaboration. I
Yeah, we've
think
loved doing this with you
it's
guys.
been so good and like the feedback's been really great. So maybe,
Yeah.
we'll have to find something else to do because
Yes.
this has been real. I mean, I just love you anyway, but
Yeah.
like, it sounds like people have enjoyed it too. And it's fun to have somebody else to bounce things off. And I've loved it. So thank you, my friend.
Well, thank you
But
too.
of course. And people can find me on Instagram. That's my main one. Jana.firestone, Jana.firestone. And you can find me on the website, janafirestone.com. I'm on TikTok, but the podcast is Pop Therapy and the YouTube is Pop Therapy Podcast. So all interviews I interview Bravo Labs and Bravo adjacent people like the beautiful Dana Regan from the Bravo Investigator, and all kinds of like fun reality TV stuff. So come and find me there. And if not, hopefully you'll see us together somewhere here again soon. Dana,
You
where can they
absolutely
find
will.
you?
And thank you so much for like bringing up that is, this is sort of the end of this time together. We've been doing this collab, like I said, for at least a few months now. And it's been nice in so many ways. It's been nice to, like, typically do my podcast alone. So it's nice to have the conversation, to have the discourse. But it was also kind of nice in a way to almost just force me to get up and do it, right? Like we have this time, we
Yeah,
have this commitment, and it's sort of yeah, no matter what you have going on, whether you're feeling shitty that day or you had, a hard one, like I always knew I had
yeah,
this scheduled time with you. And
yeah,
not only did it bring me out of like some dark shells or dark times, it also just it gave me like a sense of like something to be excited about, right? And I loved just having
yes.
that with you every week. So thank you.
Oh, me
And you guys can
too.
follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at the Bravo Investigator. You can watch episodes like this one today on the Bravo Investigator YouTube channel or on Yana's Pop Therapy YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to the Facebook group. That's a fun one. And we loved doing this with you guys. So thank you
Yes.
again.
Thank you so much. Don't forget, Dana's got a second podcast, which maybe
Oh,
you want to
yeah, I'll
throw
just
in
bring that up
there.
super quick. Yeah, if you guys just want to know more about what it's like to live your best single solo life, I have a new podcast called All You Need Is You. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. I'm doing it every Saturday or every other Saturday right now. I haven't really decided because there's just been so many other shows to cover. But yeah, I'm basically just doing like tips and tricks and interviews and stories about living alone and how you can sort of cultivate your best life that way. So check that out as well. And,
Love it.
I almost want to cry, but I'm
I
sure we will text
know.
later on tonight.
100%.
I mean, today. That's the other funny thing, you guys. Like we've been
Yeah.
coordinating this like from across the world, right? It's crazy to
Yes.
think about, which is difficult to do, but we've
Yeah.
managed to do this for you guys over the past 3 months from across the world, and it's been
Yep.
really special.
And can I just say, and I'm sorry, guys, I know we're continuing on here, but I really, really, really want to say Dana has done all the work here. I have come up every week and just plugged in my mic and occasionally put in a background, but Dana has done all of the grunt work on putting this together. She's produced it, she's edited it, she's sent me everything. She's even made me,
The YouTube
tiles
thumbnails.
to use thumbnails. Thank you. Come up with the great titles. And when I'm left to my own devices, they're nowhere near as good. And Dana, like, it's so much work, and people may not know how much work it is to. And I know you can do this with your eyes closed because you are such a professional, but it's
It is a
so
lot of
much
work. I'm
work.
not gonna lie.
It's a lot of work and it's a lot of time, and it's kind of double because then you've got to like download and get it all to me as well. And you do it like within the hour, and I know it's nighttime there for you. So Dana, huge thank you to you. You're amazing. Anyone who works with you is so lucky,
Thank you.
and I'm really grateful. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for being my friend.
Any day.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Pop Therapy with Jana Firestone.
And the Bravo Investigator podcast with Dana Regan.
Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at The Bravo Investigator, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
And you can find me at Jana Firestone. That's JANA Firestone on Instagram, and the Pop Therapy podcast on YouTube, TikTok, all the things.
You can see us collaborating every single week.
Come and listen, join the party, and don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review if you've enjoyed this episode. And join the conversation online. We would love to hear your thoughts.